Okay, so we've had the Oscars. They finally come and gone. We've had an opportunity to see Chris Rock do his monologue and provide some interesting points throughout the broadcast. I will not be speaking about the Oscars, um, but I will be pulling from a few. I will be pulling a few examples to tie into what I am speaking about. Today's Tuesday, Super Tuesday, so we will get to see primary elections in several states, and we can really get a chance to get a delegate count and see who is going to be the real nominee on both sides once we start to tally in these super delegate, whatever they call it. But we'll get an opportunity. We'll have a better sense after today to see at least who has good momentum and who may potentially get the nomination on the Republican and the Democratic side. I wanted to talk about the mercenary attitude that many people within the African American community, but it's not exclusive to black people. It is this. You can't call it soldier of fortune. I'm not using it as a noun, like a foreign soldier, hired. It's more of the adjective aspect of it, and it's to compromise. So you have this mentality where we call out, we get called out, we identify something, we see something, we hear something, we feel that we need to drag people on social media, through social media, and it's our duty, it is our prerogative to tweet at them, call them out. So there have been several examples and there have been several incidents, since this weekend. You have Chris Rock, you know, call out Jada Pinkett and kind of, well, the Smiths. And, his monologue was funny, but he definitely took a few shots at her. And then Tyrese, an R&B singer, decided to take some shots at Chris Rock for taking shots at Jada Pinkett. I'm looking online and I'm reading on like Twitter and Facebook and just checking different things. And Cat Williams, a comedian, has a problem with Kevin Hart and decided to go and drag yet not drag him, and took many backhanded shots and threw a lot of sarcasm, and shade his direction. Um, just reading it without the benefit of context, it just appears that you have one comedian jealous of another, and so it's just in our nature to present what the other person should or should not be doing, as a way to call out. The situation involving Chris Rock, Jada Pinkett, and Tyrese is interesting. Um, it's interesting because I know there was a video out there where Jada was addressing why she wasn't going to attend, and she was saying that she sends her support to Chris Rock. She knows he'll do a phenomenal job. Now, as an entertainer, she's an actress and he's a comedian actor, and they're both in the entertainment industry. So I'm wondering, was she offended, when he took shots at her and her husband about why they weren't there and if they even had a valid reason to attend, um, based off of his comments. So there was, at first I was thinking, wow, how dare he, make fun and make light of that? How dare he use a bigger platform where he was doing a job to highlight, the attitude of an academy, and the which turns out on many levels to be a microcosm of relations in our country, and where we are, and the exclusivity that one group seems to enjoy, the perceived exclusivity, and the marginalization of the other group, or perceived marginalization. So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, well, how dare he use his platform where he was addressing these issues, he was making these jokes, but they were intelligent jokes, some of them, and they, just to really bring to light, what merits a protest, what merits, you know, a boycott, what merits, outrage. But then I thought about, and I just thought about this, and I'm thinking she, as an entertainer, actress, producer, director, would understand the platform that he was on and understand the medium that he would have to facilitate his message to get it across. So I'm still conflicted about that. The need Tyrese and his need to jump in and to go after Chris Rock kind of ties into what this video will be. We're very comfortable attacking, we're very comfortable dragging, we're very comfortable calling out, and we're very comfortable seeing the change and the correction the corrections in other people. And again, sometimes they're warranted. Sometimes a person can be wrong. A person may not have, factual information. They may not be valid in the point that they're making. And again, there is a time and a place, and there is a method that can apply to any situation to encourage, empower, edify, to educate properly. Um, what I'm noticing with little beefs between, like Cat Williams and Kevin Hart, or this triangle of Tyrese, Chris Rock, Jada Pinkett, or some of the beefs that we've seen play out publicly, where you had Kanye West saying some stuff, Wiz Khalifa, and then a third party, Amber Rose, had to get involved, or Drake and Meek Mills, and just the beef phenomenon or the beef aspect of approaching and things like that. It's not new. We've had that. This is not a new thing. I'm trying to think, where does it stem from? Where does it come from? What is it? What is the fuel? Why do we feel a need to have to drag somebody? Why do we feel a need to have to bring somebody together? Why do we feel a need to have to call somebody out in a public manner? Um, I'm going to take it to this direct. I'm going to take it this way, and it's just a perspective. This is just how I'm thinking today. Um, we have evolved as a society. We have evolved as a culture. We are still dealing with cultural issues and societal issues. Race. Yeah, we're dealing with race, economics. The immersion and convergence of the world market, and the fact that we are not separated by an ocean or a lake or large bodies of water. We are interconnected. We are a global economy. We're a global people. We cannot stick our head in the sand like an ostrich and ignore the world around us. It just doesn't work that way. So we have these things that are going on. We have these issues that have been present in society, culture, within humanity. And we're getting to a point where how do we best address, and how do we best tackle some of these older issues, and how are we addressing them? How are we choosing to look at them? What perception, what light? So I'm thinking about how we feel the need to go after one another. I'm thinking about how we feel the need to shame, and that's how I want to tie it to this. The calling out, the dragging is nothing more than shaming, public shaming. And we've evolved as a culture and a society, so we don't do capital punishment. We don't do public burnings. We don't do public, lynchings. We don't have the gallows. We don't have the firing squad. We don't have the draw and quartering, the medieval forms of torture. We don't have a coliseum. We don't have gladiators. I think that's where I'm going with this. I believe that social media has become the coliseum, and people have become gladiators to the perversion of the public. And it is the gladiators were fighting for their freedom. They were fighting, to the death to walk out of the coliseum alive and with their freedom, perhaps. Um, and I think that we have taken that, which was already perverse, but we've eliminated the need for, because we're not fighting for freedom. We're not fighting to liberate ourselves. We're not, at the end of the day, with a good drag session or a good Twitter beef or a good, you know, back and forth exchange where people threw, they threw shady comments, They read the hell out of each other, you know, but no one was truly liberated. And even with the perverse nature of the crowd and them celebrating the death and the carnage and just the bloody nature of combat, the, there was still the redeeming quality of there was a purpose behind it. Yes, we were pitting, prisoners of war and people that were captured and they were being pitted against themselves, you know, but they were fighting to the death, they were fighting to survive, they were fighting to live, and there was the chance that one could potentially fight for their freedom, to be liberated. So I'm looking in the arena of Twitter, and I'm looking in the arena of Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat, and we have many, many gladiators, and we have even more spectators than the Coliseum could hold. And we cheer and we celebrate, the proverbial ripping of limbs that takes place on a daily basis, the medieval torture that you used to see, we don't need a Tower of London. We carry a Tower of London within our hearts, the way that we go after people, the way that we confine people, the way that we condemn people, the way that we sentence people to the subjection of shaming and the verbal attacks and the vicious nature of confinement and placing them in a category or placing them within a wall or a context. So here we are sitting in the Coliseum. We're cheering. We have the emperor, the whatever, and on a daily basis, there is bloody combat, there is bloody carnage, all with the words, all with our memes, all with our clever, clever memes and quotes, sound bites. And it's disheartening. It's entertaining because at a perverse level, like he asked in the movie, are you not entertained? But he was asking in exasperation of, look, what more do you people need to be entertained? So I'm asking myself, and I'm asking you, what are you not entertained? What more do you need? What more do we need to be entertained? What more do we need to do to satisfy the need? Because I feel like a lot of this is just stemming from something that's just been ingrained in us since the beginning. We've always done public executions. We've always done public shaming. We've always had public torture. We've always had torture. And we don't do it publicly anymore. Not on a not in a literal sense. We're not burning people at the stake literally. We're not hanging people literally. We're not executing people publicly. We're not using some of the heinous methods of torture, like, the draw and quartering, having the limbs attached to four horses and they go in separate directions, or the Iron Maiden, where it's like the big coffin type thing and it spikes and they press it and it, just impales you, or the guillotine from the French Revolution, public beheadings, like. And this is just my opinion. I just feel that that is in us. It has been within us. And I feel that instead of publicly beheading people and publicly putting people in a pit to fight to the death, or torturing and publicly executing someone and burning them and why having people watch and celebrate that, it's taking place in a metaphorical sense, idiomatically, every day on social media. You see it every day. And we're so good at attacking each other with our words. We're so good at, shooting one another with a gun or stabbing each other, and utilizing tools and weapons to attack one another. Um, and I don't think it's something that will necessarily end, in the foreseeable future, until we exercise that need to, you know, torture and shame and punish. We delight in that.